board game, believe it or not.
All right, round 4 goes to me, and it's my return to handling the Believe It or Not segment. And if you're not familiar what happens in Believe It or Not, it's where I come up with a whole bunch of games. Some of them are real, some of them are fake, and I'm going to throw it around the board, and everybody is going to hear a name of a game, the year it came out, a brief description, and then say, do they believe it or do they not believe it? And if I can fool 2 people, I get a point. If they're right, they get a point, and then we'll see who wins. Usually I perform very poorly, but I come up with some really cool games. So I'm doing this a little bit Daniel style this time because I liked how he did the numbers. But I have a lot more numbers. So we're going to start with Chris here. And Chris, pick a number between, I don't know if Andy, if you heard this, it's pick a number between 1 and 15.
Cool.
I'm going to go with 13 because apparently according to Capital One, that's Taylor Swift's favorite number. And I really hate that commercial. It's really annoying.
Okay. Very random.
Yes.
Very random.
Very good. All right.
Capital One, not a sponsor. Yet.
Number 13.
Want that Capital One money.
Yes, definitely. Number 13 is this. Where's the Beef? Came out in 1984. Roll the dice and move around a board resembling a fast food restaurant. Face down tiles are on the board. Some tiles have actions. Some have food. When you think you know where all 4 beef tokens are, you announce it, flip over the correct tokens to win. Roll and move mixed with memory. Chris, what do you think? Is that something you believe or not?
Oh, man. So obviously there's the famous commercial of the lady saying, where's the beef? The problem is I'm not sure what the relationship was with this. I don't know if it was commercial for like a restaurant of some sort or like maybe
Wendy's.
it was a Burger King thing.
Wendy's.
What?
It was a Wendy's commercial.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's possible. I don't know, like, if they were, I know they've done some stuff with like gaming recently. They had a famous like 5e module that they put out for free a few years ago. But I don't think back in the 80s they were doing it. But it was the 80s. So they made games for like the dumbest crap. So I'm going to go with yes. I'm going to believe it's true.
You're believing it. Okay. Andy, what say you, buddy?
I'm going to just counter things out because that's how I do things. I play the odds, and so I'll say false. Just
so you say,
to potentially
well, that's not an option. Believe it or not believe it?
Oh, I don't believe it.
You don't believe it. Okay. And then we're going to Joe next. Joe, this is what I wanted to do this segment because we have a professional in the board game industry. Surely he can smell out the fake games. Joe, what do you say?
Here's the thing. If this was done in 1984, would it have been done as a Wendy's promotional item? And you said that some of the cards have actions on them. And I feel like that is a more advanced board game mechanic than what Wendy's would have put into a promotional product, especially in 1984. So I'm going to say that this game does not exist. It is not a real game.
No
Dave
belief.
Thomas is known as a famous game designer, right behind Dr. Knizia.
Yes.
That's another David Thompson. Okay.
Thomas.
So I don't believe it because of 2 things. One, I'm pretty sure you just described a Stone Age Junior. You move around, you look at tiles to see if they're there to build buildings. And 2, if this was real, I'm pretty sure Flip the Table would have played this to counter their McDonald's game. So I'm going to say no, it is not.
Okay. So you're a no believe. Okay. You got them all figured out.
Chris is the only one.
This one, I was like, you know what would be a cool game is one called Where's the Beef that came out back. And so I looked it up on Board Game Geek and it was a game already. So it's real. It's real.
Yes.
It sounds horrendous. You have to roll and move to get to the things that you have to memorize what they are. You can't just pick things up. You have to roll and move. Oh, it sounds bad. But
Joe's right. You said action cards. Maybe this game is before its time.
Maybe. Yeah, hard to believe, but it wasn't even sponsored by Wendy's. It was just literally Where's the Beef? But, yeah, so it's just a generic restaurant.
Someone just stole the tagline.
Yeah, just stole the tagline. Andy, I believe you're next. What 1 and 14, 1 through 14. What do you want?
Let's go with in the words of the Beatles, number 9.
Number nine. Here we go. Bermuda Triangle came out in 1975. Bermuda Triangle, the legendary area in the Atlantic Ocean where dozens of ships and planes have disappeared, is the setting of this exciting game of suspense. A mystery cloud hovers over the board, swallowing some ships as it passes. It's like a little magnetic cloud, and your ships are magnetic, so it's not that tricky. But Andy, what do you think? Is this a real game that came out in 1975, Bermuda Triangle?
That sounds like a legitimate game that could be pretty basic, and for that time period, yeah, I'll go with that is I believe it.
Andy has to actually come up with a real reason to say it this time. Okay, so Andy is a believe. Joe,
well, he has to when it's his turn because no one's made any choices.
I know, that's
so
what I'm saying.
be
He has
contrarian.
to.
What year did this come out?
1975.
You know, this is the time frame, the 70s, is when things like crossbows and catapults and that pirate ship game where you had the like little thing that like shot out broadside, right? Like there were a lot of like these like very toy centric games that were coming out by like Milton Bradley and stuff like that. And Fortress America, another one. I feel like you're talking about this like with the magnets and everything like that. I want to say that this is real because it feels like it would have fit really well in that landscape of games of 1975.
All right.
So you're a believe.
I'm a believe. I think
He's a believer.
I think this one's real. Magnets are tough, but I think it fits a little bit.
Okay. Daniel, what do you say, buddy?
John, you had me until you said magnets, because magnets didn't exist in the 70s. And two, I feel like that would be such a centerpiece and something that's so like over the top and exciting that we would be talking about that today. Like, think of a game that you're just like moving it around and that sounds fun. I'd play that right now. If it is real, I think Restoration Games needs to publish this because
you are easily entertained, Daniel.
I am.
I love how Daniel said magnets didn't exist in the 70s.
Yes.
I was expecting to be like, magnets still don't exist. Daniel's like a magnet truther.
That's right.
It's like birds aren't real, baby.
Birds aren't real. The earth is flat. Magnets aren't
real. Someone's
accurate.
just doing that.
Yeah. So Daniel, were you a not believe?
I'm a not believe.
Okay. Chris, what's a you?
Okay.
Buddy?
So it's so funny that Daniel brought up about the magnets and everything like that, because actually that was the piece that sold me. Like that was the piece that you said that I was like, all right, either John is way smarter than I give him credit for, or he or this is real, because that is something that feels very 1970s is the magnets. And the reason it feels 1970s is because of the real life situation, the documentary called Jumanji, right? In the 70s when they're playing the game and the thing moves around, they're like, oh, it must be magnets or something. So, and then in the 90s or whatever, it's microchips or whatever. But it was
magnet propaganda.
Yeah, magnet propaganda. So anyways, I'm going to... Exactly. So I'm going to run around the ring and believe.
And a believe. All right.
The drop that I'm not sure anyone but a hardcore wrestling fan will get, but
I don't believe it. So Bermuda Triangle, for some reason, things quit disappearing there, I guess, because when I was a kid, that's all you ever talked about was, the Devil's Triangle, things. And this game did come out. A classmate of mine had it, and I played it. It was one of the coolest games ever. And yeah, you're right. Restoration Games needs to get on it, man. That would be an amazing. That would be an amazing game to have come out now.
John, I'm so offended that you just talked about the magnet so off the hand. Like that seems like the centerpiece, and you're just
that's what the centerpiece is. This cloud that goes around. Yeah, you don't know if your ships are going to get stuck in it or not.
Yeah.
Who's that bring us to? That brings us to
Joe.
Oh, Joe. 1 and 13. Between 1 and 13. Joe, what do you got?
Wait, did we get points? I got it right.
Yeah. Randy's figuring it all out.
Yeah, we got points.
Okay. There we
just
go.
Trust the producer, Chris.
All right,
Chris doesn't get an extra
Randy, I
point
don't
because he
trust him.
complained about points, right?
Chris, who has nothing planned, is worried he's not getting his point.
That's right. And on the episode, we have a guest where it doesn't matter anyway. I'm like, I want those points.
No, Joe is earning this.
Yeah,
that's true. That is true.
We went from Devil's Triangle. We're going to go to Devil's Number. We're going to go 6.
Number 6.
Mm.
Okay. Number 6. Well, it doesn't sound very devilish. The Andy Griffith Show came out in 1967. Well, the game, not the show. It takes place in Mayberry, but I didn't see Andy Griffith anywhere on this game. Aunt May has opened a hat store in downtown Mayberry. Help her deliver hats and collect payment by visiting various locations found on the popular television show. What do you think, Joe? Does that sound like something that came out in 1967? That must be like the end of the run of the Andy Griffith Show?
Feel like an Andy Griffith like trivia game or a Monopoly variant, I would have, 100% been on board with this. But this is such a specific game. Like the theme of this game is way too specific and not broad enough for like a mainstream pop culture TV board game like cash grab. So I'm gonna go no. This is not a real game. This is our first fake game.
Yeah.
Maybe.
All right. Yeah.
We don't know. Daniel, what say you, buddy?
Well, it's weird that there's a Spider-Man crossover in this Andy Griffith game. You said Aunt May, right?
Did I say Aunt May?
Yeah.
It says Aunt B on my sheet, but I say
I was gonna Daniel, you beat me to it. I was totally gonna call that out too.
Oh,
That's
wow.
funny.
Am I
Oh,
a
man.
maybe I'm more Marvel than Daniel.
There you
Yeah.
go. Well, I'm gonna
I-
say false now because I think I just saw the cracks in your story
It's
there.
Aunt B. Not
son.
Aunt A.
I think you mistyped when you were coming up with the idea. No,
Okay,
also,
maybe
um,
I did.
yeah. No, I'm actually gonna say it's true. I want to go with true.
Okay.
It just sounds, yeah. I'm going with
Sounds
true.
bad enough to be real.
Exactly.
Okay, so we got to believe and a not believe. Chris, what do you say, buddy?
I'm not gonna believe because I can't believe that it would be about Aunt B and not about Andy and Don Knotts, whatever his character name is.
Barney.
He was
Barney,
long
yeah,
gone,
exactly.
by
Well,
then.
Andy.
Like exactly. There's got to be. I mean, how do you not have? I mean, again, whatever. What's Andy Griffith's the real character's name? The actor, I can't think of his name.
Andy.
Isn't it Andy Griffith?
It is.
It's Andy Griffith.
Oh, okay.
Andy
It's Andy
Griffith
Taylor in the
is
show.
Andy Griffith.
I'm losing my mind. Whatever. But regardless, when you have a treasurer like Don Knotts, how do you bypass him?
He wasn't
all I
on the
know.
show
So-
anymore at that time.
Oh,
Wait, Barney left the show?
He was
yeah.
only on for like 2 years.
Spoilers. No, I'm joking.
I don't know.
But regardless, it's so off the beaten path of what the show is about that I just can't believe that it would be about Aunt B making a hat store. I mean, I
Gotcha.
like the idea. That sounds hilarious, but I just can't believe it.
So no believe. Andy, what do you say, buddy?
I am also going to go no belief because I would much rather. First of all, yeah, I just don't. It doesn't. No, there's no way that a game at that time would have come out that would have had a mechanic like selling hats. I agree with Joe. It would have
That's
been a
way
trivia
too
game
advanced.
or something like that. And if it was going to be a different character to use, it should have been Otis the Drunk.
There you go. That would have been good.
Or maybe
But
Floyd the
still.
Barber, but definitely not Aunt B.
All right. Well, you guys should. Daniel, you should have listened to Joe because yes, I made that one up. That's a no go. That's a no go.
We're doing horrible this time.
Who? You?
Me.
Yes, I haven't been.
I had you figured
too
out
bad.
last time.
Yeah. Well, Daniel, this is your chance to recoup. Pick a number
All right.
between 1 and 12.
All right, one more. I'm gonna go with since we're quoting numbers here, I'm gonna go with number 2.
Number 2. This is the first Sweeps Week on Kickstarter. How about that? A game called Sweeps Week. It's a card-heavy board game where players acquire. Let me see if I can't read my own writing.
Oh no.
They're all handwritten.
Oh, okay.
Tell us about
Card-heavy
Aunt
board
May in
game.
this game.
Where players acquire cards that represent different aspects of a TV show. After 6 rounds of backstabbing and conniving, players put together the best show they can using 5 of their cards to do so. After scanning their cards with the game app, their 15 to 30-second TV show creation will play and receive ratings. The highest rated show wins Sweeps Week. So it's almost a little bit like, what is that game called that you're trying to make the
Networks?
best hand? No.
I
Hero
don't
Realms,
know.
Fantasy Realms.
Ah.
That's what it
Oh,
reminded
okay.
me of, where you're like doing things and then you're like trying to get, like this director works well with this, whatever. So
All right.
anyway,
John,
currently
how,
on Kickstarter. Daniel,
how
what
do you
say?
spell that? Because I need to search for it.
Nope.
Okay. I'm gonna go with no. Oh wait,
No?
it's on Kickstarter right now?
Yes.
No, because I'm sorry, the apps have come a long way, but unless it's like AI driven, how are you gonna like come up with a 30-second commercial from scanning something?
Okay.
I don't believe it. And if it's real, I'm gonna back it.
Okay.
Okay.
Chris, what do you say,
so
buddy?
Can you say the name again? Like it sounded like you said like Sweep Squeaks or something. I'm like,
Sweeps Week.
Week. Like when they do all the ratings, Sweeps Week.
WEEK.
I know. What's the first word though?
Sweeps.
Like
never heard of
like
sweep?
you win all 3 games of the
No.
series and you sweep him.
Sweeps week is where they get ratings for their show to sell advertising, TV shows.
Old man Chris, come on. You should
Yeah,
know.
I don't
I
know,
know,
enough
you
about
should know
Hollywood.
that.
Regardless,
Chris is like, I only read the newspaper.
that's right. And I haven't got the paper ever in my life. I don't know. Like it seems made up. It really does. But I don't know, the QR code, like the fact that Daniel thinks it's impossible that you could scan all these different QR
He
codes.
thinks
And then
magnets are impossible.
Yeah, exactly. So the fact that he thinks that you could scan the QR codes and it wouldn't do something interesting, and the fact that like I feel we've kind of come full circle to where they're starting to sell gimmick games again, like they did back in the 80s, opposed to like good quality, solid games of actual gameplay. I'm going to say this is real. I'm going to believe. I'm going to believe.
We got a no believe and a believe. Andy, what do you say?
I'm going to go with believe. It sounds actually really cool. And unlike Chris, I studied mass media, so I know what Sweeps Week is, and I worked in the media.
There we go.
It actually sounds like a cool concept. And yeah, Daniel, you know what? AI is doing everything else. Why couldn't they make some commercials?
There you go.
I think it sounds
Ooh.
legit. I might back it too.
Cool.
Joe,
with all of
before you give
buddy.
your answer, Joe, I got to do a hot seat question I didn't think of. Are you afraid that AI is going to take over board game publishing or design?
No, AI is our friend. And no, I'm not scared at all.
Yeah.
I, for one, welcome our new overlords.
Sorry, go ahead.
You made one critical mistake.
Uh-oh.
You said it's on Kickstarter right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I am on Kickstarter every day. I have an addiction. I every day go to Kickstarter and look at any new project that launched. And I don't remember this. I don't remember seeing it. I don't remember it coming out. I was just at Origins, so it might have slipped in then when I wasn't, but I feel like I still would have seen this at some point. And if it is active on Kickstarter right now, I'm going to say that I have not seen it. And I see most everything that launches in the tabletop game product subcategory on Kickstarter because I check it religiously every single day. So I'm going to say no. I'm going to say you're lying.
You're a no believe.
I'm glad
I'm
you
a
went last with
non-believer.
that
This
explanation.
I'm so glad he went last because yes, I made this one up. But I'm telling you this, I think this sounds like a good idea. What inspired me was drop mix, because you have those cards that interact with your iPad. And it's like, well, why couldn't they do that with this? You have this producer is good at doing this, doing this, doing this. And when the cards fit together a certain way, it's going to make this show. I think that would be really cool. But
yeah, so if Daniel hadn't disbelieved because of the QR code, I was absolutely going to say this wasn't a real game, because I'd be like, all right, so sounds like to me you had Predaporter out, and then you were like, all right, what other games can I mash with this game? But but then he said the QR code. I was like, I got to go with that.
This is a total offshoot of the topic, but kind of.
well, then let's bring it up by all means.
No, yes, by all means, let's do it. You just mentioned Drop Mix. I tried to play Drop Mix the other day. The app's out of date. You can't play it anymore.
Is that right?
Oh, no.
Yeah. But see, that's what you'd have to you get extra funding for this game, because you'd have to re-up on your app. And
If anybody knows how to play Drop Mix still, shoot me a message, man.
That's
Yeah.
not good to hear. All right. Well,
Or
but
put it in the comments.
or put it in the comments and let us know what you think about these games. Would you buy Sweeps Week? Tell me you would, because maybe I can get some funding for it. That would be awesome. But other than that, let us know what you thought about the show. And I think we got a winner.
If you enjoyed what you just watched, click on the embedded video for the rest of the episode.